Everybody, what is going on? This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We got John Tweets Sports with us today. We're talking about what you should be excited for this game, what you might be nervous about, and don't sleep on. And we got a few of them. We'll come back and talk about it.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, y'all? We are back. Like I said, we got John Tweets Sports with us today. And John, how's the day going, my man?
My day is going fantastic. It's Friday, and we are ready for some ball, Clint. We got Friday night football. We got Saturday football. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than a Friday in the first Friday of October, right? I mean,
it don't. You're exactly right. Loyal third segment listeners, we're going to be, since it's Friday, we got Friday football. We're going to talk about don't sleep on, but we also might give you a little spicy little money line, little what you got for Friday. By the way, this episode is brought to you by Underdog. We'll get to them here in a moment. Thank you, Underdog, for being a sponsor of this show. So, John, we're coming off a bad week. Our text feed had some pirate-esque language on it. Couldn't be too, couldn't get that up onto this YouTube side. And now we're looking at Auburn, and we hate Auburn to death. I hate Jordan Hare. I love the fact that when I say Jordan Hare, I get the cross look every single time, and I'm never going to stop ever in my life.
Jordan Hare. There's no E in Jordan.
It doesn't get old because y'all are so foolish. Like, it brings me great joy. I said on yesterday's podcast, and I know, John, we're going to get to here in a little bit at the end. You're going to hear what John does with a couple of guys that we really like and appreciate. And I know you guys have done some breakdown of film. I said this game is a little bit like Mizzou 2.0 because Auburn doesn't have an incredible offense. It's got some guys on defense, which is exactly what Mizzou had. And Mizzou had one guy take over the entire game with his legs, Burton, and a couple of defensive stops because of schematics. So we'll get to all that, but John, maybe coming after all of that, what are you excited for in this game?
I am excited. So Georgia has had a problem on offense. Now, stay with me.
Come on.
Georgia's averaging 500 yards a game, right? One thing that stand out that that a lot of people haven't talked about, Georgia's outside wide receivers have not been able to get that much separation, right?
No, sir.
You've had injuries out there, and you've had situations where the screen game has had to be relied on. Getting the ball to running backs out of the backfield has had to be relied on by the Georgia offense. I'm excited about Arian Smith being back for the Dawgs. Almost back to 100%. Hopefully, he ran 5 routes last week at Missouri. I'm excited to have him out there. Excited to see if we get A.D. Mitchell as well. But just to have a guy on that outside wide receiver group that you feel like can get some separation this week, I'm excited about that. I am also excited to see how the offensive line responds after having a second half where they went and had to just run it down Mizzou's throat to win a football game. I'm excited to see how that carries over for Georgia this week. So those two things for me, got a speedy wide receiver on the outside, got an offensive line, hopefully, knock on all the wood, with a chip on its shoulder after having proved something in the second half last week. Very excited to see those two things this week.
Absolutely. John, you touched on my excitement. I saw an offensive line. I don't know what happened at halftime. I'm glad it happened, though, because that O-line, which made me want to grab all the buckets I've ever owned in my entire life in the first half. Second half came out and proved a little something to me. It was very exciting to see what they were able to do. I loved every single aspect of it. So give me excitement for this offensive line. That's exactly where I was going to go. Yes, A.D. Mitchell, come on, brother, get onto the field.
We need some separation. In my life. It's kind of like this girl that I dated about 20 years ago before I met my wife. You know, I loved her. She was a great girl, but I just needed some separation in my life. Like, it was just things were a little too much and it was causing problems, a little too close. So we just need a little separation in our life this week.
You said, okay, hey, well, it's not you, it's me. It's not you.
Exactly. This isn't the Georgia offense. No, Georgia's offense averaging 500 yards a game. It's not you. It's me. I need some separation in my life. I need to see a wide receiver over the top on a post route from Stetson. I need it for my own sanity. So
come on, y'all. Come on. Let's do it. We're going to come back after this and we're going to talk about what we are nervous about. And this is the bucket segment. I think we're going to try to get maybe a company that's got some orange buckets to sponsor the second segment of our Friday episodes, because it's the bucket segment. But first, I want you to know about Underdog. Underdog Fantasy is a place that you can go to get every single fantasy that you need with college football and betting. Case example, you can go on there right now and you can say to yourself, that Stetson Bennett go route that we need AD to get some separation on, you might want to say, I'll take the under on Stetson Bennett throwing 277, which, by the way, don't do that. He's going to throw for over 277. The guy's averaging more than that. This offense is averaging more than 500 yards a game. Take the over. If fantasy is your thing, if betting's your thing, if Underdog's willing to give you Stetson under 277, take their money. Take their money. That's Underdog Fantasy. And right now you can go over there, download the app in the iOS store or Android, as well as on the website. And you can get up to $100 match guarantee. Up to $100, you're going to go ahead and get right onto your deposit with the promo code Locked On. That's promo code Locked On. Underdog Fantasy, the best place to combine fantasy and college football. John, let's get to the bucket segment. Let's get to the segment that's going to make us very, very nervous. What are you nervous for in this game?
Okay. Auburn, the only thing they were able to do on offense versus LSU was when Robbie Ashford got outside the pocket and they were able to hit a few throws because the LSU secondary lost contain and a wide receiver or a running back in one situation was able to get open. Missouri last week, Brady Cook was able to get outside the pocket, scramble a little bit, hit one guy for a 36-yard catch over Lassiter, hit another guy for a 46-yard catch when Ringo was in coverage. I'm nervous. Auburn, the only offense they have, the only shot they have is to get Robbie Ashford outside the pocket and Georgia's secondary being out of position. And we saw that happen a little bit last week. That makes me nervous. The second thing that makes me nervous, because I'm bringing all the buckets, Georgia has missed 37 tackles all year. You know how many they missed last week? 15. They missed 40% of tackles that they missed all year or last week versus Missouri.
And all y'all were getting on Daniel and I for talking about this defense in very, very unflattering terms. Listen to that stat.
Zion Lowe got pushed around last week.
Did.
Like, listen, you can't – a Kirby Smart team cannot miss 15 tackles in a football game. And so, again, I have confidence that Georgia is going to bounce back from this, but I am nervous about those young guys on the defense, especially with the Jalen Carter being out this week, being hurt this week. Those guys up front missing tackles. They missed 40% of their tackles that they've missed all year in one game last week. And so that makes me nervous with a quarterback like Robbie Ashford and with a running back like Tank Bigsby. You just got guys that can make you miss if you're not a sure tackler. So those two things, a little bit nervous about this week.
Look, I know I'm going to sound like an old man here. I get this because I am an old man, but I don't understand. You have these like appendages on your body called your arms. And if you bring your arms with you when you tackle and you wrap up, the missed tackle rate goes down a great deal. So you use these things as you're tackling. Look, here's what I'm nervous about. And you said their only hope of offense, and I agree. You look at the game last week, they went out 14-0 against LSU, but those 14 points were gimme points. They were not points that they earned. After that, LSU took over the game, and it was never in doubt after that. Auburn got out really, really quick. Here's what I'm nervous about. Robbie Ashford is going to be their offense. He's going to do that, getting on the side, getting in his legs. If we struggle, I think this game, we can struggle like we did against Mizzou, and we could still win because Auburn is really bad.
Yes.
But if we struggle against Ashford, I know a better version of Ashford. and he's down in Gainesville, and he's quicker and he's more athletic. And if you're telling me that this game is bad for us, there is no amount of tranquilizers in the world that will get me ready for the cocktail party, because I am going to be bad, John.
And let's not even talk about Hendon Hooker coming in. I mean, come on, listen.
No,
we're in a situation where, yeah, you got to fix the tackling. I did go back and look as you were talking, and Georgia, the last 2 weeks have been their lowest tackling grades of the year. And the last 2 weeks, Georgia has missed 24 of the total 37 tackles that they've missed all year have come in the last 2 weeks. So got to tackle, man. Got to tackle.
Got to. Now, again, this is an experience. When we talk about Monty Rice is one of my favorite linebackers, not because he was the most skilled guy in the entire world, but because when he put hands on you, you went down. That's why I loved him in the inside linebacker. Nakobe Dean, same thing, sure tacklers as well as speed. We got the speed, we got all that. If guys wrap up, this defense can be suffocating.
Yeah. Listen, and let me be clear. You said it, and I'll say it clearly as well. Auburn doesn't have the offense. I'm convinced does not have the offense to beat Georgia this week.
Nope.
What makes me nervous is you have to see, like you were just talking about, you have to see improvement. You have to see progression. Georgia's going to be playing, Small Munden has been banged up. There's going to be some, you're going into the third deep in your linebacker core probably this week. And you just got to see guys step up and make plays for future games. I don't think for this week, for future games. And it makes me nervous just watching the trend the last 2 weeks. Let's get that trend going back in the other direction.
Let's get it going back in the other direction. We're going to come back after this, and we're going to talk about what not to sleep on from this game. And please, Georgia fans, don't sleep on anything anymore, as we've already talked about, as well as some other nuggets. So right after this, not to sleep on. All right, John, we talked about what we're excited about, talked about what we're nervous about, and now let's talk about things that maybe some other people, maybe the pundits, are missing out on this game, but you have a keen eye for. What should the fans not sleep on for this game?
The fans should not sleep on. So, did you see Dajan Edwards run the ball last week?
Oh, I saw him run the ball.
Have you seen? Did you see the offensive line in that second half?
I did.
We've already talked about that. Okay. Don't sleep on a Kirby Death March making its way back this week for Georgia.
Love
with
that.
Dajan Edwards specifically. Georgia is averaging 2.9 yards after contact. These running backs. Last week, especially Dajan Edwards, 25 of his 49 yards came after contact. So don't sleep on a Kirby Death March this week with Dajan Edwards leading the way sometime, late third, early fourth quarter. I really expect Dajan Edwards to get a good bit of carries this week after what he did last week, what he proved in that second half. And I also expect Georgia to be able to run the ball late in the game once again.
I love that. The Death March needs to come. John, I need a Death March.
We need to have it. We got to have it. Come on.
Give me, especially against Auburn, especially in this game, especially going into what will soon become the heart of the schedule this month. I need it in a bad, bad way. Look, don't sleep on this. Don't sleep on much has been talked about the tight end room. Much has been talked about Brock Bowers and Big O. And I love Georgia fans for this. I really do love you guys, because you'll say in the same breath, you'll say Big O needs more touches. And then you'll say, why aren't we creating more space for Brock Bowers? And I'm just sitting there like, there's one football per play. Okay. This isn't Top Gun. We're not playing offense, defense in the same play. Okay. We're not on the beach.
Clint, we're only averaging 500 yards a game on offense. Okay? We need to push that up a little bit and provide.
Look, I'll say it. Loyal third segment I'll say it. Y'all spoiled. Okay? You guys got spoiled. We have an incredible elite offense. But don't sleep on, again, this conversation coming up. And don't sleep on Big O getting actually no receptions this game. And here's what I mean by that. And this is why I would love for him to get tons of receptions. I think what we will see when the first 2 weeks of the season, our offense was cooking, right? We were cooking. We had Brock out on the edge doing incredible stuff. And Kent State, first play, I get all that. And Big O's an incredible offensive weapon. But did you, John, you heard what he said this week when he said, look, y'all, I want us to win. I want us to run the ball. I told coach to run the ball. I love blocking. He loves being on the field and playing football, and he is a freak, okay?
He said, get behind me. I want to move people.
Find that Big O and just let's go.
Yeah.
So
I run behind Darnell Washington this week. It would be fabulous.
That's the death march. And if you guys don't understand that this guy loves playing ball and loves demolishing people, demoralizing people with an Anderson Silva knee to the throat, if he's doing so on a catch, or if he's doing so by just moving larger humans, which there aren't many larger than him.
I don't know if Anderson Silva has that vertical though. Like that knee to the throat in midair is a different. It's a different technique.
It was wild. That was wild, and Big O did something different. All right, John, tell the people what you're doing with a couple of guys and how they can check it out.
Yeah, so we are over at dogcentral.com. We have a little Georgia community over there where we're sharing takeaways, game previews, those types of things. Tomorrow, if you're listening to this before Saturday and you are in Athens, we are doing a live show from the Glass Building on Millage Avenue with the UGA Rugby Club. So me and Josh Hanser from Dog Stats and Jim Wood from My Gotta Podcast will be broadcasting live with, nothing more fun than starting a Saturday morning with a bunch of rugby guys. I don't know if you've been around rugby guys.
I have.
They built different. So
look, y'all, you want to talk about the football rugby difference? Like, I get it. Rugby guys, Monty Rice would not be taking them down if his hands got on them. Okay.
No, these guys are built different. But we're gonna have a good time supporting the UGA Rugby Club. So if you're around, come to that. Not, you can check us out on dogcentral.com. And excited to continue talking about Georgia football.
That's exactly right. Get over that tailgate. Get over, hang out with those guys. Get to the game. Glad John will be there in the building for this game. That's exciting as well. And then, if you like film study, if you like deep analytics, if you're an old man and you just want to line up with an I formation, don't go over there. But if you like football, if you like effectiveness as it pertains to non-Iowa century winning play, then get over there and do that, because they got some great stuff. John, thanks for joining us. Friday game. You got any betting lines so far?
Man, that's a great question. Listen, I have I need to look at the lines. Give me 1 second. What you got, Clint? Give me 1 second.
Here's the deal. I'm just going to go ahead and let you know right now that if you're chasing from last week, like maybe some of us had happen, which we might even talk about. We got Friday baseball as well, John. So
we
don't need to. But look, Rutgers is a play, y'all. I gave him out as a lock earlier this week. Rutgers is a play. They're still getting 3 points. It's Nebraska. Nebraska's not good, and Rutgers coming off a shelling, in which they still, were there to cover, but expect that. And then in the most unwatchable game in the entire universe, Colorado State and Nevada. What in the world is going on? Nevada's giving 3.5. I know they're at home, but look, in games like that, I always take the points. So I'm not going to give it up, but it's interesting. Look at that game as an interesting thing. Two bad teams. Give me the points on it. You got anything?
Yeah, I love it. For me, I would say I love that Rutgers line. I also love Rutgers, Nebraska over 50.5.
Ooh.
I think that's a good line. The other thing I'm going to be on now, this is going to be a little bit controversial for some people who have watched the Houston Cougars play football.
Okay.
Houston +3 versus Memphis. I'm going Houston to cover the +3 versus Memphis tonight. I think Houston. I think that Nathaniel Dell is going to play good football. That's a good line for me for my money tonight. If there's still a couple places you can get it at +3, some places have already moved down to +2.5. But give me Houston in the points.
I don't hate that at all. I saw Houston play a game. They're actually pretty good. I saw Memphis play a game, and they're not. So
No.
I know it's simple. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it all. Get over there. Check him out, Dog Central. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We will see you guys later.